Okay, so let's discuss some of the common reasons why people fail the exam the first time, and really so that you don't fall into any of these categories. Okay. Now, one of the main reasons why people fail the exam the first time is they haven't done enough studying. Just like any exam you've ever taken, you need the time to study for this exam. It amazes me how many students are going into the exam and they're just going in underprepared. I ask students, why did he fail? What was your study tactic? And they said, oh, I just memorized the formula sheet and the process grid. That's all you did? Well, of course you're going to fail if that's all you did. Remember, what is the exam testing you? It is testing your knowledge and understanding of PMI's principles. It's testing your knowledge and understanding of PMI's standards. Remember, the PMP exam is not testing how well you manage projects in your organization or how well you manage projects in your industry. So it doesn't matter how many years of experience you have, right? That's not necessarily going to make you pass the PMP exam. And again, I've had students in my classes that come in and say, oh, I've got 20 years of experience of project management. Why do I need to study? Well, you need to study because you've got 20 years of experience in your industry, in your organization. You don't have 20 years of experience of understanding PMI standards or PMI's principles, right? That's why you need to study, right? It's testing your knowledge and understanding of PMI standards. That's what you need to learn, right? And this moves over, or this takes me to the next bullet point here, not taking enough practice questions, not taking enough practice exams. Your key to studying is going through practice exams, questions, question after question after question. Because there's a lot of curveballs that PMI throw at you on the exam. They'll give you irrelevant information, right? It's all scenario questions, but sometimes the entire scenario is irrelevant to the question. Or they'll give you irrelevant information within the scenario. They'll mismatch terminology, right? There'll also be some key words in there. You need to learn to pick out key words and phrases. One key word could change the context of the question, right? So you need to understand exam strategy, exam technique, right? Learning the materials is just one part. Exam technique is the other part of passing the exam. And the only way of learning exam technique, right, exam strategy, is by going through question after question. Now, during these video classes, right, we have videos on exam strategy and exam technique and what kind of things to look out for on the PMP exam. Right? But you need to practice those. And the only way of practicing is by going through questions and practice exams. I mean, it is literally a case of practice makes perfect. Now, these next two bullet points are two other common reasons why people fail the exam. Right? Either they've taken the exam too early, or they've taken it or they left it too late. You need to take the exam when you're ready to take the exam. And ready, right? By ready, what I mean is you've studied enough, you've gone through enough practice exams and practice questions, right? And the materials are still fresh in your mind. You can still think in terms of PMI standards. You can still think like PMI. You can still think in terms of PMI's principles, right? And everybody's different. So, I can't tell you exactly, how many hours of studying you should be doing, or, how many days or weeks after you've watched the videos. There's many, many different variables, right? Especially when it's an asynchronous class like this. But what I will tell you is this. Don't just take the exam immediately after watching the videos. Don't just watch the videos and then go take the exam, right? Plus, at the same time, don't wait several months either, right? You need to have a proper study plan, right? It's no point in just watching a video here and there and then, waiting a few weeks, watching another video. That's not going to work either. You need to have a proper study plan, right? Have a study plan, right? Make sure that, you're going to do this topic on this day, this topic on this day, this topic on this day. Make sure you're going through practice quizzes and practice exams. And then, again, after you've watched all the videos, right, make sure you take in plenty of questions. take the exam when you're ready. Right? When you're ready, when you had enough time to go through practice exams and the materials are still fresh in your mind. Okay? Don't take it too early. Don't leave it too late. Now, here's another very, very common reason why people fail the exam the first time. You cannot get past your own experiences. You have to understand, these are PMI's standards. These are PMI's principles. Every industry manages projects differently. There's no right or wrong way of managing a project. Right? Different industries manage projects differently. And plus, you're in a predictive environment or you're in an agile environment. Project management is very, very different in both environments. Right? And half the exam is predictive, half the exam is agile. Right? So you need to be able to think in both terms. So you need to be able to have an open mind and understand every industry manages projects differently. This is PMI's industry. This is PMI's principles, or these are PMI's principles that you're learning. So you have to answer the exam based on PMI's principles. Everything you've learned about project management, put that at the back of your mind. Unlearn everything you've learned, right? And start thinking in terms of PMI standards now. So when you're answering an exam question, when you're looking at the option choices, don't jump to the option choice that sounds reasonable based on what you would do in your organization. You need to take a step back and think in terms of, is this in line with PMI's principles? Okay. Now, one of the other reasons why people actually fail is just being nervous. This is just an exam. Don't go into the exam nervous. Right? If you've done enough studying, right, then there's no reason why you shouldn't pass the exam. And I will tell you right now, almost everybody, not everyone, but almost everyone, always feels like they've gone into the exam underprepared. Everybody feels that way. In fact, I even felt that way when I was taking my exam. Right? I felt I need to do more studying. I didn't feel like I was prepared. And everybody, I can tell you, almost everyone feels that way. They go into the exam and they think they haven't done enough studying, or they feel that they're underprepared, right? So regardless of how much studying, people have done. So I will just say this, don't be nervous when you're when you take the exam, right? I mean, I have seen students where prepared really well. There's no reason why they shouldn't fail the exam, but they just got really nervous, right? And they started, spending a lot of time on one question and not enough time on other questions, and they ended up sometimes not even finishing the exam. Don't let that happen to you, right? It's just an exam after all, right? All you can do is try your best. That's all. Okay, so go in there as relaxed as you can.